Engineers have a unique way of thinking, and it creates natural barriers to communication and building relationships with the average person, especially in the workplace. But you can use this knowledge and awareness to your advantage. Stay tuned. Before I begin, you're probably wondering, who is this guy and why should I listen to him? I'm Doug Howard. I'm a licensed structural engineer and engineering manager. And my biggest passion is helping engineers like you elevate your life personally and professionally. It's why I started this YouTube channel, which is 100% dedicated to helping engineers just like you build the right skills to take control of your career, create the opportunities you deserve, and become the best version of yourself. Subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on any tools, insights, and techniques that you can use to put your engineering career on an accelerated path. In today's episode, we're going to cover why engineers think differently than most people, how and why it leads to communication breakdowns and misunderstandings, and we're also going to look at how you can use this knowledge and awareness to your advantage. Let's dive in. All people have a natural preference when it comes to how you take in information and what factors you consider when making decisions. You either prefer using logic or emotions. And whether you realize it or not, most of the things you do require your brain to make a decision, such as interpreting what someone says or determining how you will respond to what they said. If you naturally prefer logic, and most engineers do, more times than not, you're going to be fair, firm, rational when you're making decisions. You're also going to be most interested in objective, logical analysis. You're going to use your head to make decisions instead of your heart. You're going to easily be able to see inconsistencies in other people's logic. You're going to place a high value on truth and following the rules. You're going to see things as black and white and have trouble seeing the gray areas in between. A logical person will most likely use words such as think and know to describe their thoughts. They'll say things like, I think this is a good idea, or they'll ask you questions like, what do you think about this decision? Meanwhile, about 2/3 of the population naturally prefers using emotions instead of logic to make decisions, which is why most people are more likely to be passionate and caring and emotional in their decision-making process. They're going to be more interested in subjective considerations like people and feelings. They're going to use their heart instead of their head to make decisions. They'll understand how other people feel and place a high value on communicating with diplomacy and tact. They'll also easily be able to see the gray areas and the exceptions to the rule, which is why they're more comfortable with bending the rules. An emotional person is most likely going to use the word feel to describe their thoughts as well, such as, I feel like this is a good idea. Or they'll ask you, how do you feel about this decision? Most engineers lean heavily on the logic side. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be very good engineers. And it's why most engineers find it easy and natural to take things like facts, rules, knowledge, and what is known into account, while they also ignore things that an emotional person would consider, such as the exception to the rule or how other people are impacted by actions and decisions. To figure out which type you are, let's play a little game. Let's say you were an engineering manager and you were tasked with deciding whether or not to fire an employee. The decision was 100% up to you. I want you to spend a moment thinking about what factors would drive your decision. A logical person would approach the dilemma objectively and consider things like, what was this person's quality of work? Was it acceptable? Did this person complete their projects on time? Did they show up to work on time? Did they break any company rules or policies? Meanwhile, an emotional person would attack this decision the complete opposite way. They'd place a much heavier weight on subjective considerations like, how long has this person been with the company? How will unexpectedly losing their job impact this person? How quickly will they be able to find another job? Will this person be able to recover from this? They'll also consider how this decision impacts people in their life. For example, will this decision deflate your engineering department? Maybe this employee was a senior role model who boosted morale on the team. Maybe a lot of people looked up to him. Before I continue, I want to know if this concept changes the way you perceive other people. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Okay, I want to remind you that just about 2/3 of people prefer using emotions over logic to make decisions. which puts engineers at a huge disadvantage when it comes to things like dealing with the average person. Because in order to effectively communicate and build relationships and win people over, you need to be able to empathize with people. You need to be able to understand them. You need to be able to consider things from their point of view and what's important to them. In short, this is why engineers aren't naturals when it comes to people skills. But before you go dismissing an emotional person's considerations, I want to make sure this next point is crystal clear. Both logic and emotions are completely rational ways to approach decision making, and neither of the two are more or less intelligent than the other. It's simply a matter of perspective. And making the best possible decision in any given scenario requires a balanced perspective, where you're viewing the problem from every possible angle and you're weighing logical and emotional considerations. Now, you might be thinking, if I'm a logical person, how do I take emotional considerations into account? Well, if you're a logical person, this just means logic is your natural preference. It doesn't mean you're incapable. What it does mean is that you use logic more frequently because it's where you're stronger. It's what you're most comfortable with. But everyone is physically capable of developing and using both logic and emotions and incorporating it into your decision-making process. It's similar to a right-handed person using their left hand. Your left hand is physically capable of doing everything that your right hand is capable of, but it takes an intentional training and effort to get it there. You actually have to force yourself to use it. And the first step towards engaging the emotional side of your brain is becoming aware of this concept. But if you want to learn how you can take this much further, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I'll be diving a lot deeper into this concept in upcoming episodes. I'm Doug Howard. Thanks for watching.